See, normally from my couch here, and yes, the light turned on. I didn't mean to. Cell phone camera, you know what the fuck are you gonna do? Normally from my couch, I can see my fish tank, my little 20-gallon reef, and I can see my TV. And you know, there's a little bit of top off bare head. That's you know, that's okay. Like seriously, like I sit back like this, and like over here is supposed to be where the bucket is. You know, the bucket's just supposed to be blocking the view of the fish tank from time to time, not blocking the TV. And I got a fish tank with a filter blocking that. And then I got this fucking 10-gallon on a damn ottoman. I'm just getting tired of this. So I'm thinking about taking extreme measures. So here's the deal. I was thinking about the Flame Angel that's coming in, the Blue Tang that's coming in, the Royal Grandma that's coming, all going in that 10-gallon. And then Leo going in this bottom 10-gallon, kind of having it divided. And then the 6 line going to go in the 5-gallon. Or actually, no, I was just going to dip the 6 line because it's a wrasse and it's, you know, probably just only prone to bacterial, not so much ick. I mean, wrasses can get ick. It's just, you know, a little less likely, kind of like mandarins. But then I changed it to, I was going to quarantine the Flame Angel and the 6 line and the 5-gallon because it's blacked out and they're peaceful fish. And then the Blue Tang and the Royal Grandma and the 10-gallon because they're, you know, boisterous. And then put Leo down over there and then move my over in with him. But I'm thinking, you know, my probably doesn't want to like meet a new fish in a little tiny space. My wants to meet a new fish when she goes back into Mai's pot, you know, when she goes back into her pot. And I'm just thinking, you know, I can just disconnect this system from the rest of the systems. I'm going to put Myrtle and Smurfette back in the sump where they used to be. Back in the refugium. The 12-gallon fucking refugium. For a damsel and a pygmy aptasia eater. Yeah. I might just put the 6 line in there. I might just put all of them Blue Tang. Just give them all a formalin bath. Blue Tang, Flame Angel. Maybe I'll just give them all a Paragard bath. About that Paragard bath. And then splash some fresh water on them after I adjust them to the salinity I want them at. Yeah, pH buffer it and all. I'll probably forego the fresh water. I don't like using fresh water because I don't have the time to sit there and, well, I don't have the fucking fresh water up and down thing because I don't have the time to sit there and use it. So I never bother buying it. Just extra money. It's just like shit I'm not gonna have time for. So I like formalin dips. I like Paragard dips. I usually do Paragard dips. I'll sit there and I'll turn that fucking water in a little tiny receptacle blue with some Paragard. And just let them sit in there until they start to look a little irritated. And then take it out and they're fine. And usually if there's anything wrong with them, they're cured of it. But now, the Flame Angel and the Blue Tang I'm actually going to look up every one of these species and make sure I can use that formalin dip on them. But if I can, what I'm thinking is disconnecting that system and putting all them fish in there. And then, before anybody thinks they can get settled in Maya's pot, go ahead and put her ass back in there with her new little clownfish. And I figure since I have a Mai Tai named Mai, I might as well have a Da Vinci named Leo, right? So, I think we have a winner. It's going to be risky. I could basically treat all these fish with antibiotic frozen food as soon as they get in here. And that's probably what I'm going to do. And I'm going to disconnect that system. Leave the salinity in here a little bit lower. Go ahead and let the salinity raise back up where it needs to be on the reef system. And I'm going to go ahead and take care of that now. Let the salinity keep raising on there so the anemone will be fine in there. I'm going to add the 6-line wrasse to that tank. Now the one thing I'm worried about is, see, a flame angel should be fine, a royal grandma should be fine with a small Picasso triggerfish. Okay. Clownfish in the blue tang will certainly be fine, even when he gets a little bigger. But the 6-line wrasse might be too tiny. That's what I'm worried about. Anything that looks too tiny to go in there is going to go into a quarantine, basically. That's probably the way I'm going to have to do it. And then I'll probably only have to be using this quarantine. And then basically I might wind up with the 6-line and the royal grandma if it's really tiny in there. But then in which case I'll have the blue tang, the flame angel, Leo, and Mai, and a Picasso triggerfish in the 55 gallon. But if they don't come in too tiny, I'm just going to put them all in there and basically quarantine them in the reef tank with antibiotic food after a dip in formalin. A little bath, a little shower, a little spa treatment. And I think we'll be good. I'm hoping for the best. Preparing for the worst. Hoping for the best. And the reason being isn't just to get all this shit out of my living room. It's actually because I really want to take good care of that Atlantic blue tang. I want it to wind up being my male, basically, one day. I'm going to put it in a tank with a bunch of small yellowish, juveniles. The way it comes in is going to be, basically dimorphic. And it's going to be a little tiny female, little girl tang. It's going to grow up and be a big bully man tang, if it has that in it. It's kind of it's almost predetermined, but induced situationally. It's predetermined genetically, but the change is actually induced situationally, whether or not a sexually dimorphic animal becomes the apex of its chain, or whatever you call it. So, like a female clownfish, not every clownfish that winds up alone or the dominant fish will turn female. Not every fish, not every clownfish can even turn male. Clownfish can be left alone for years and not even turn male. They can remain completely infertile and retain a juvenile size and shape. I have some like that actually. 2 years old now, still a fucking inch long. And only the strong, only that bold one actually will become a female that can breed. You might get a bonded pair of two males, and never will one become an actual female. It doesn't actually become a real female until it's getting ready to breed. When it becomes a female, you'll know because the fucker will lay eggs. But until then, they don't experience that significant growth increase. And it's just not every fish that can make it. Not every fish has it in it. So I suspect it's the same way with tangs. Not every tang you get, like an aggressive tang, it's got a personality that's going to wind up making it a male. It's like an aggressive clownfish has got a personality that's going to wind up making it a female. More than likely, if it's genetically fit enough. You got an aggressive tang versus a passive tang. A passive tang might stay female its whole life. It's purely speculation. I don't have that much experience with tangs, but it's data that's been in front of people about clownfish for a long time, and they haven't realized it. So, wonder if anybody's heard anything about that as far as discussion of tangs and other species that are dimorphic, like groupers and such. You'd be surprised. It's actually seems to me like the majority of aquatic species, at least ornamentals, are actually dimorphic. Angelfish, butterfly fish. We're actually not even really sure if butterfly fish are dimorphic. But I think what's confusing in the data is more along the lines of what I said. They can be dimorphic, but they aren't always dimorphic. You might have a pair of bonded butterfly fish. Neither one of them actually has it in them to become the dominant sex. And that's not because neither one of them dominant. It's just because neither one of them can make it that far. And let me just say this. Everything about fish and fish keeping and reef keeping and fish lives and life cycles, it's all a metaphor for us and our spiritual journey. It's all a metaphor that needs to be taken quite literally when it comes to maintenance of the ecosystem. Thanks for watching, y'all. Stay tuned tomorrow for another live stream while I prepare the area. And then Thursday, we getting fish in the tank. Oh yeah. Also, a note to people who have watched the live stream and found the quality to be poor. I figured out something with this new camera I got. Sorry if it was a little bit teased, but it isn't in fact a 720p camera that for some reason automatically set itself up to 360. So the freaking graphic quality wasn't even improved the first couple times I was using it. I apologize. And from now on, we will have a much higher quality broadcast. If you go about 45 minutes or so into yesterday's broadcast, or earlier today, right now it's like past midnight for me. Go about 45 minutes into that broadcast, you actually see me figure it out. And you can see the higher quality, beautiful fish tankness from there. It's actually like, about yay as far as resolution goes. But, actually over